Greetings all. This is Harry Nick.
And this is a less hairy Justin, and my hair looks terrible.
Your hair looks fantastic, my friend. Don't you dare touch it. Don't you dare. It's wonderful. Yes, I am no longer in the place that I was. I am now in this location. I have moved home. And as it turns out, moving home is not conducive to producing YouTube videos. So we've had a little break. But I'm here now. I have some sort of a workspace. This is getting organized in the meantime. I have lots of cool stuff to sort of show off and talk about. The lighting's all messed up. The overhead light, the windows open. It's a mess, but it's going to get better. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing all right.
Pretty
I
much.
haven't played any X-Wing for ages. I really want to.
No, me neither. But things are starting to sort of really open up. We just went into a potential sort of lockish, downish situation here in Melbourne. We've had a few cases of the dreaded plague. But hey, we can still chill out in our homes at a safe distance of about to 10 kilometres and, you know, talk about little plastic ships that one day we will see in person again. So, AMG have graced us with a little bit more spoilery action about the Trident class epic... What's it called, Justin? The Squid Boy.
It is called the Trident class assault ship.
Yes, the Squiddy Boy being added on to the Scum and Separatist faction. I will just say this at the top of this video. We're not really epic players ourselves, so talking about like power level and stuff, epic, just all the guns just shoot, and I don't really know how to assess how good a gun in epic is. It all seems to do a lot of damage. It's all really cool. So we're just going to talk about these cards from a flavor perspective. I think that's what we can sort of do best here. Just have a bit of fun with it. Let's start off with these three guys here. Oh, by the way, these were all posted via AMG's social media, Facebook, and I believe Twitter as well. So if you want to stay up to date with these kind of stuff, it looks like this is going to be the way they distribute it for the time being. Hopefully, very soon, we sort of start to see the articles that we saw on the FFG website make their way over to AMG, but we will see what happens.
That would be great.
Indeed. Okay. Enhanced propulsion. This is a hard point and a cargo. Setup. Equip this side face up. At the start of the end phase, you may spend 2 energy to execute a white 2 forward, 1 bank left or right maneuver. If this was any other side ship, this would be incredible. But as I said, don't really know power level in this too much. For something that really does rely on positioning so much, we'll see that in the next couple of cards we have a look at. Especially trying to catch things in the rear, being able to do like 1 banks to try and catch those tractor tentacles seems like a very powerful ability. Yeah, let's move on to the drill beak next, which is an attack out the rear with 3 red dice. Attacks at range 0 to 1, and it has a special rules clause. It actually allows you to perform this attack at range 1. So if somebody bumps you up the rear, guess what? You can drill into the side of their ship.
Which makes a fair amount of sense, considering that that's exactly what it does in the show and in this artwork.
And as a bonus attack, you can spend an energy, and if it's at range 0, you change all your hits to crits. Which just seems really, really good. It seems to be like, how do we sort of match the flavor of literally drilling into a ship in X-Wing? I think just like dumping critical damage is the way to do it, realistically. Yeah. Pretty much. Get your hull breaches, your exposed power core, things happening. It just seems to work flavor-wise. The tractor tentacles also 2 red dice at the back, range 1 to 2. And you can do up to 3 bonus attacks by spending 1 energy. So that's all very interesting. As I said, look, epic weapons, they're all pretty shooty and hurty. I like the flavor of being able to attack out the back, and you've got something to sort of enable that.
All of these are double-sided cards, so we've still got 3 extra cards on top of these to be revealed.
Yes.
So there's still quite a lot to be coming
What's
out.
really interesting is there's no flip mechanic on it. I don't fully understand how that's going to work, but I guess we'll find out in due course.
So it must be that it... Oh, no, because these all say side up, don't they?
It could be another card that does it. It could be the ship itself or another up. I don't know. It's hard to tell. And look, it's, as I said, it's epic. weapons. They're all pretty big and hurty. But I gotta say, I like the unique angle that AMG have taken here, where you can actually attack out the back, and you've got the propulsion system to actually help you get those rear attacks as well. For those of you who are fire spray aficionados, you know how powerful that boost is, getting those rear attacks. I remember flying Cath Scarlet with the extra dice out the rear with engine upgrade in first edition. Boy, those were good times. Let's relive it with a tentacle squid boy. We also got 6 characters added in as well. 6 unique characters. For even the zealous captain, who is unnamed, is a unique character. So let's go through these. This goes on any huge ship, any faction, which is pretty cool. Takes up a epic point and crew. During the engagement phase at Initiative 4, you may spend an energy to perform a bonus hardpoint attack, which is like a watered-down version of some cards we're about to see, which are Separatist specific, which is fun to say. And yeah, just more and more attacks. I don't have any further comments about that. Just keep shooting. Just keep shooting.
Yep.
As a little blue fish used to say. Hondo Inaka. Again, no faction-specific stuff going on here. Has 2 charge, adds coordinate to red jam. That's fantastic. Do many epic ships not have coordinate already? That's what I'm curious about. I'm just having a quick squiz. It has red coordinate.
They'd already the other ships might have white, but it's the fact that it's a coordinate into another action, which is just one action.
Indeed.
And you then get to have a second action after that.
That's it. And jam is not insignificant for sure. During the system phase, you may spend one of your 2 charges and choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1. Move one of your objective or victory points from that ship to your ship card, or from your ship card to its ship card. So it seems like a lot of fun. He's not stealing like objectives and victory points from opponent's ship. That's not how it works. It's about sort of playing a denial sort of strategy with your own ships, which seems pretty cool. I like the idea.
It's sort of like you had the thing over there, and then he, pirated it across to his ship.
You can't daisy chain it across a whole heap of ships. It does have to involve Hondo's ship. But I don't know. Like, it's one of these things where I think the action plus that is sort of good enough. Like, that kind of, keepings off ability seems like it might just be okay, but if it's costed effectively enough, like, just having coordinate into red jam is also fantastic. So, yeah, whatever. All seems pretty good. Let's move on to Asajj. This is Separatist or Scum. Command point and a crew this time. Adds a force and also adds focus into purple coordinate. That is fantastic. During the system phase, you may spend 1 force. If you do, each enemy ship in your forward arc at range 0 to 1 gains 1 strain token unless it chooses to gain a jam token. So essentially everything in front of you, the opponent chooses a strain or a jam. I generally don't love these kinds of effects, but I think strain and jam are both effective enough that I can give us a pass.
Yeah, they both do similar-ish sort of things. Yeah, either way, you're going to feel pretty bad. Well, not bad, but you're not going to feel great getting either one of them.
Pretty much. And look, if you're going to shoot that ship regardless, not many scenarios where one of those isn't going to do some work. I mean, obviously, strain will always do a bit of work for you if you're going to get shot. That's fantastic. Jam, of course, not relevant if you don't have tokens and you're just going to do other actions in a turn. But, it's also something you have to factor in when flying against the Asajj's ship. It seems great being able to sort of pressure your opponent into not taking tokens. That seems like a very good, relevant ability to be able to use. And look, if you do get caught in that situation where you force your opponent to take a jam token and it's not consequential for them, well, I think those situations are going to be rare enough that you just don't mind too much. That's what I think there. Let's move along to a couple of extra shooty boys. So before we saw Zealous Captain, these 2 new crew members we're going to have a look at are Separatist specific, and they actually have a sort of a secondary effect on top of just using an extra hardpoint attack. General Grievous, for example, during the engagement phase at Initiative 4, you may spend an energy to perform a bonus hardpoint attack. You can perform attacks against friendly ships, and After you perform an attack, if the defender was destroyed, each friendly ship at range 0 to 2 of it may perform a calculate action. So, Justin, how often do you think we want to shoot our own vultures?
Relatively insignificantly, but it's still going to pop up every so often. If you get to be able to use that calculate token to fire off energy shell charges or extra attacks, you're going to feel pretty good.
Oh, it's upside, so, who cares if you never do it? Because getting that second ability when you're just shooting your opponent's ships is still fantastic. This is all this upside. It's not like slapping on that astromech, I forget what it's called, the one that lets you shoot your friendly ships that doesn't do anything else. It's not like you're wasting points in an upgrade, which is just inconsequential apart from that fact. General Grievous does a lot of things apart from just being able to shoot the friendly ships and get a bonus from it. I think this is going to be a trap for some people. I think people are going to look at this and go, oh, I can get all the calculator tokens. And they waste an attack on a friendly ship and they hurt their own cause by blowing up on their very friendly ships. And they really shouldn't have had to. Do it when it's really empowering you, as in it's really going to improve the quality of your attacks, your defenses. If you've got like a heap of energy shell charges on your vultures and they weren't otherwise going to get a calculate, you are generating so much advantage through all the extra red dice you're going to make. Say you have, I'd say like 3 or 4 of these that are going to be generated because you shot one of your friendly ships. Yeah, okay. At that point, I'm thinking this could be worth it.
You've basically got to have an entire wing to gain a calculate token to sort of...
Oh, for sure. Like a wing. Yeah, it's a good point. I think the trap is people are going to go, oh, look, I can get calculate on 3 vulture droids. But those vultures could have just taken calculate anyway, and you're not really getting that much of an advantage at that point. Just little things to think about.
I was just going to say, at the end of the day, you can also just attack your opponent, destroy their ship, and gain those calculate tokens.
That's
I'd
right.
Do that.
A novel concept. Also, Shark Boy, Riff Tamsin. During the engagement phase of Initiative 5, you may spend an energy to perform a bonus hardpoint attack. Well, that sounds all very similar. You can't shoot your friendly ships with this one, though, Justin. You don't get that kind of nonsense. But
no, the sharks don't attack their own kind.
Maybe. I don't know. After you perform an attack, if the defender was dealt 1 or more face-up damage cards, it gains 2 strain tokens. I like that a lot. There's no cap on it. You can multiple attacks per turn can just generate all these strain tokens. If you've got lots of ships to take advantage of that, great.
If you've got that drill beak as well, which is turning the hits to the crits, you're going to feel pretty good with that as well.
That's true. Also notice on both Riff Tamsin and General Grievous, they don't say specifically on the attack that they're generating. The last sentence on both cards is off any attack. So if you have Tractor Tentacles, well, guess what? You have like 4 attacks. This can trigger over and over and over and over again. Potentially. I mean, I know they've got to be in the rear arc, and do you really want to dump like 6 strain onto one ship? Okay, I do. I'm just going to say I do.
Yeah.
Because I want it. Yeah, that's right. All the strain for you, Boba Fett. Or Sunterfell. That's probably magical thinking right there, but that's okay. It's going to happen. Vader in the Defender is going to get 7 strain tokens. And then, is that possible? Yeah, let's just say 7. Why not? That's a nice round number. And then we shoot it, and it gets killed by a Vulture Droid. That's right, Shark Boy.
Getting that 115 points.
The most popular character from any Star Wars cartoon, Shark Boy, is going to murder Vader in a Defender with help from a robot. It's canon. Shut up. Last but not least, we have Ma Tuck. Also a Separatist-specific card. Setup. After placing forces, choose one friendly wing with the calculate on the action bars and place that wing in reserve. During the end phase, you may place that wing within your deployment area or beyond range 2 of any enemy ship. Then you may choose one enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of you. Each ship in that wing acquires a lock on it. So, there's a bit to break down here. Specifically, that last bit with a target lock, the enemy ship has to be within range 0 to 1 of the ship that Martuk is on, and the wing that you deployed then gets target locks. Now, it doesn't say ignoring range restrictions. That could be because there's physically no room left on this card. I don't know. That might need some clarification. I'm going to guess if it doesn't say that, then they can't ignore range restrictions. And that's probably fine, to be honest. Now, also for you newer players, there's a few little weird rules interactions going on here. So, putting a ships in reserves means you take them off the table and put them next to your upgrade cards, but they are not destroyed. And then deploying them means you put them on the table. That's what all that means. It's all pretty straightforward. It's just some funny language that AMG uses with that kind of stuff. And also, when you deploy it, beyond range 0 to 2 of any enemy ship or in your deployment zone, which means you can go within range 2 of an enemy ship if they're in your deployment zone, which I think is kind of cool. So they can actually dogpile an enemy ship if they fly too close to the edge of the board. That is so really good board control.
You'd have to wait, later into the game for your enemy ship to be sort of heading towards your side, but feels pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, we're talking about Epic. We're talking about a game where there's lots of ships. If this were in the standard game, yeah, obviously, having 1 or 2 ships in reserves for most of the game means you're splitting up your forces over the course of the game, which can be potentially quite bad for you. Having a wing not in the game in Epic, especially like Voltage or something like that, is a much smaller fraction of your overall squad, so it doesn't give you that much of a disadvantage. And the tactical advantage that it can give you of basically threatening your opponent to never fly into your deployment zone, or if they do, they could be in a world of hurt, sort of that kind of board control really interests me. I don't know how valuable this kind of effect is going to be. As I said, we're not really Epic aficionados, but I really like this kind of effect, and I want to see more of it. It kind of reminds me how we've got the Boba Fett crew card on Scum that can deploy on an asteroid.
I was thinking also Old Han as well on the Resistance.
And these kind of effects haven't really taken off meta-wise. I mean, I remember that one tournament where you and I played. You deployed Kylo, then I just deployed Han right next to him. And he was just chasing his son around the board. That was a good night. That was a good night. I enjoyed that a lot.
For the lols, it was so much fun.
Indeed, and it's a real positive play experience, being able to sort of mess around with the core rules. Not in a way that's busted or broken or creates a bad experience for others, but, that sort of flips the game on its head. It's a fun kind of game mechanic, and I want to see more of this kind of stuff in the game. Potentially even introduced in a way with something that actually is meta viable. That'd be really cool. Maybe Martuk, maybe in the Epic meta, if that's going to be a thing. Maybe Martuk will be some spicy goodness that dominates the top tables of the Epic, the Epic tournaments that's being played around the world.
Yeah.
You know the ones. Yeah.
That one right there. Yeah.
That one over there, that's the one. But all jokes aside, very cool. It's cool to see AMG sort of spoiling these over social media. Maybe it sort of lightens the load for them, in terms of making articles, that kind of stuff. I'm not sure why they've chosen to do this, but it's interesting. And also posting these things on social media, it basically gives them the platform where people can then discuss it. The community and the forum is built into that kind of delivery method, which I think is kind of interesting. Very interesting indeed. However, I would still have to see some articles very, very soon. And some information on some more standard stuff. I want to see when the Razor Crest is coming into the game.
I want to see when there's a certain whisper.
For those of you who missed it, we actually haven't spoken about this on the channel because, hey, all this. We got a leak about the First Order Squadron Pack. The only faction so far not to get a Squadron Pack. With 2 new ships. Looks like it is the new Sith interceptor thingamajig from Rise of Skywalker. It's called
the TIE Whisper.
The TIE Whisper, yes. And the bomber, which I think had some concept art in The Last Jedi. I remember we were talking about it a while back and it never came to fruition.
And then it was also in the Resistance TV show.
Oh, okay,
in
cool.
like one of the final episodes.
That's probably why I missed it. No
Yeah.
offense to the Resistance TV show.
Oh no!
Speaking of which, have you been watching
just-
The Bad Batch?
Oh, so good.
Sorry to
Oh,
cut you off
I
right there,
can't
man,
wait.
but
Yeah,
very, very
No,
interesting.
this is something that needs to be cut off for. Like this show is. Ooh,
Indeed.
you reckon they're just gonna do the one? You reckon they'll just do the one season, or
It
do you
depends where the
reckon
story
it'll be-
goes. Depends where the story goes. But it could be interesting, like to do this and then like focus on another small thing throughout the universe. Like I'd love a small season that like remakes the events of like Shadows of the Empire and like something in between Empire and Jedi, that kind of stuff. Like they can do a lot of stuff with this format. I really, really dig it. Really love the inclusion of Fennec Shand as well. And the ship that she flies looks like a possible spicy include for X-Wing. But we have got to see that shuttle from the Bad Batch in X-Wing.
So good.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like,
So what do you reckon? Is it going to be?
oh, it's Republic.
It's going to be Republic, but do you
Then it-
reckon it'll then go Scum, or is it just going to be straight Republic?
I don't, because Scum has certain implications from a moralistic standpoint as well. I think they're just going to go Republic. I think that's just the right way to do it. Yeah, I don't think that. I think that's the cleanest way of doing it anyway, and not multi-faction. I don't think they want to go that sort of route anymore. That's unideal. Lots of cool, interesting stuff to talk about. Justin, thank you so much for joining me once more. We'll get back into doing some more regular-ish videos soon. Hopefully that bookshelf behind me gets more and more organised as we continue. In the
That'd be
meantime,
nice.
thank you all so much for watching. You know, like, subscribe, social media stuff all down there. We do like all the social media stuff. Come chat to us. I know we've been a bit quiet recently, but we're going to ramp things back up again. Hopefully we have some more information out of AMG as well, and we can continue to talk about the new stuff on the channel, because that is what I like doing most. Just talking about the news, if you will. The news about our little plastic spaceships. And with that, me and Justin will catch you in the next video.
Bye.